The Joe Rogan Experience.
But
Bro, even your hands look smaller.
Dude,
you have new hands.
I've had to change my Oura ring size 5 times in this process. I've changed clothes for 2 years straight.
I'm
dude.
looking at your hands. I'm like, he has different size hands
Oh,
now.
dude, it's
crazy.
Everything, dude.
I
It's
haven't seen you in how long? It's been at least a year and a half.
It's been a year and a half. We did the pod. I was in this pod bragging about being 420 pounds because I'd lost 120 pounds, and I was in here excited about those 120. You know, and I would have never guessed it. I've lost Ilya Taporia since then. You know what I'm saying? I've lost a whole nother. When my chef said it best, he said when Charles Oliveira fell off of Michael Chandler's back, that was what you lost in the since the last time you've seen Joe. It'd be like if a Michael Chandler just jumped off your shoulders.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy, Joe.
It's crazy. When I go walk with my dog, I put a 45-pound plate on a pack. And when I get done with the walk, I take it off. I'm like, whew. That ain't shit. Dude. You were walking around with an extra 300 fucking pounds.
Cam said this yesterday. It was so funny. He said, you know why you're inspiring so many people? He said, think about how much David Goggins inspired people because he went from 300 pounds to getting in shape. He said, and you've lost David Goggins at his biggest. I'd never even thought of it that way. I was like, wow. I was like, yeah, that's a whole.
You lost a whole David Goggins.
Dude, my surgeon said I have 35 pounds of skin on me now.
Wow.
I mean, you've seen it. I showed you my shirt
wow.
and stuff. But it's like, it's crazy, dude.
That's crazy. Just 5 pounds of extra skin.
Just extra skin.
That's crazy.
It's just hanging off the front of me right now.
Whew.
And somebody said, doesn't that hurt? I was like, not as bad as the 500 that was hanging. I'll take these 35 over that all day, dude. Way fair exchange.
So what was, you knew you were doing bad. You knew your body was not going to be able to function at that weight for very much longer. And so what was the pivotal moment where you made this decision?
This is why I wanted to do this with you. Thank you for letting me have this space, because this is what I want people to hear, is that every time I thought I had a critical moment, it was an emotional moment. So I'd get all fired up. I've been trying to lose this weight my whole life. And I'd yo-yo 50, 70 pounds down, go back up. Me and my nutritionist, Ian Larios, were looking at notes yesterday. I spent most of 2022 between 480 and 560 pounds. Like that year. That's how much I fluctuated in just a year, up and down.
560 so
crazy. You know, so it's like I was just so when I sat down to try to lose it this time, I said, I'm going to take a different approach. I'm going to really take my time with it. And I'm going to think about what I'm doing and be intentional. I'm not going to let it be an emotional thing where you just jump up and go, I'm going to go run in the day and do. And I was like, let me figure this out. And clearly, I've dealt with drug addiction. So I was like, maybe there's something here. Like, how come, I actually have this in my notes. Overeating wasn't a failure of willpower for me. It was a biological loop that I didn't know how to interrupt.
That's a good way to put it.
You know what I mean?
That's good. The problem with food addiction, as opposed to every other addiction, is that you have to keep doing the thing you're addicted to. It's the only one.
And it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Not that crack isn't everywhere and heroin isn't everywhere, but
it's not. I've never.
Yeah, there's not heroin on this table. You know what I'm saying? There's a cookie on here somewhere,
food,
probably.
There has been.
Yeah.
But food is something that you need to sustain you, to keep alive. Like, imagine if you were a gambling addict, but you had to play a few hands of blackjack every day.
Every day.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like you had to. Like you got to play at least two.
Stay alive.
Yeah,
to
so
stay alive.
You can imagine I started, and with that mentality, I said, well, the first thing I'll do is, let me, how can I cut back how much I'm eating? And less eating periods. But the first thing I did was started, every time I said I was going to lose the weight, Joe, I said I lied to myself. We talked about this. I would tell myself, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go do that, and then I'd go tell my family that. So the lie started with me, though. You know, there's a big person listening to this right now, or a drug addict, or somebody who wants to change some part of their life that right now is going, I'm going to start next Monday, or I'm going to start Friday, or I'm going to start. They have a start date. And then that Monday comes and they never do it. I told you, I was like every other fat fuck. Even when I finally did it on Friday, I was like, Monday, I'm waking up and changing my life. And I was like, but I had an idea. I was like, I'm not cutting out food. I'm not dealing with nothing crazy. I'm going to do two small things first. I'm going to cold plunge. because I've been watching Dana White do it, and it seems to be working for him. That's how just naive I was to the whole thing at first. I was like, Dana's cold plunging. He got in shape. I was like, and I reached out to Gary immediately. Like right around that 39th birthday, I reached out to Gary Brecka, and I just sent a message to Brecka Blind that said, do you work with fat people? Because I hadn't seen a real case study of fat people yet. And lucky for me, Alina, their daughter, him and Sage's daughter, was a country music fan. So she comes in like, you ever heard of Jelly Roll? And they're like, no. She's like, you got to listen to this song, and then you got to help him. So Gary called, and Gary was like, and I said, Gary, I'm going to start. But he said, just start by trying to get 10,000 steps a day and get in a cold plunge. I'm like, dude, I'm 520-something pounds, Gary. 10,000 steps a day is crazy talk. But I got in the cold plunge for 6 minutes, and I would go for a half-mile walk. That first Monday comes, Joe, it is pissing rain. Pissing rain. I mean, cats and dogs, dude. And I wake up, and I'm like, shit. And I've been studying about lying to yourself. That when you tell yourself you're going to do something and you don't do it, your body then starts to know that you don't mean what you say. So now when you tell your body to do something, your body looks at you like, bitch, you ain't never meant what you said to me.
Right.
You've never followed through. What do you fuck you? You think I'm going to run because you tell me to run, dude? You lie to me all the time. And I was in that concept, and I came out that morning dressed up in my stuff, and I was like, man, that rain's pretty hard. And my family, and this wasn't them being a lack of support, Joe. This was just, I think this was me lying to them for so many years. You know, that they wanted to save me my shame again and my embarrassment. And they go, it's okay. I think my wife's like, it's okay, Papa. But my daughter was like, just wait till the rain quits or do it on the treadmill or something. But in my mind, I was like, no, I'm going outside, you know? And I was like, I'm done lying to y'all, and I'm done lying to me. I told y'all I was going to go do this walk, and I'm going to go do this walk. I didn't want to get emotional this early. But I'm good.
There's nothing wrong with emotions, brother.
I'm coming back from that walk. And I'm coming up my driveway. It's up a big hill. I'm bringing in camel too. It's a huge hill. And I'm coming up the driveway to the hill. And all my family's out there cheering me on. Clapping. Hands up. I'd done nothing but lie to them for years about this weight. I had done nothing. I'd never proved to them that I was going to change or that I'd be a man of my word in any regard. They had every reason not to go out there and cheer me on. And that was like a big moment. That was the moment, you know, where I was like, damn. And I realized that in addiction, the family will kind of cater to the addict. It's nature. You know, like if somebody in your family was a drug addict, you would help with their kids, or you would feel a need to help in their absence. It's what we do as a family. It's human nature. And I realized then how much my addiction had been hurting his family. You know, how much that my sex life with my wife was horrible. Dude, I married a fucking big titty, blonde, beautiful woman, dog. You know what I mean? Like, I married the kind of woman that makes you smile when you're crying, Joe. You know, and I couldn't even get aroused. I was so big. I mean, I was having to play Twister to have sex. Left foot here, right foot in the X. You know, are we in there yet? Tell me if you feel something. I mean, it was bad. You know, my daughter, I think about my son. You know, my brother would have to go throw football with him. I was too big to throw the football. And I was like, that's what my addiction has done to these people. And here they are cheering for me. Oh, dude, we're turning up. We're going to figure this out.